I think this is working. I think we're live right now. Good to see you all tonight. I've been watching what's coming out of Washington, and I felt like I had to come back and talk to you because I'm looking at these lies. And they are lies. I mean, they lie, and they lie again. Whether it's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Buttigieg, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, you name it, they are all out there lying because right now this is a matter of control, taking control. The left is out to take control of everyone's money so that they can control your life. They want to know where you're going. They want to know who you're going to see, how much money you might have or might be making, which they will then judge as inappropriate and take, and they will continue all of this as long as they can. They are using the coronavirus crisis to strip Americans of our freedoms. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. It's good to have you here. I am Trish Regan. And if you don't think that everyone's taxes are going up in some way, shape, or form, then I think I've got some property to sell you, some oceanfront property in Arizona that you might want to buy, right? All right, let's be clear. Joe Biden will raise taxes on every single American who actually pays taxes. I mean, don't forget, only half the country actually does pay taxes, right? I mean, you get a lot of people that just don't. And that's a problem onto itself. But this plan, anyway, this plan is going to make sure that every American pays the price in some way, shape, or form. I'm just doing some technology to test if for some reason you cannot. Yes, it's working. We've got the audio going. That's been an issue in the past. So glad to see it's all set tonight. But anyway, I'm looking at this with Pete Buttigieg wanting, and Joe Biden, $4 trillion. Right? Originally it was 3, now we're talking about $4 trillion for infrastructure spending. And the guy goes on CNN, Pete Buttigieg that is, and says, quote, if you make less than $400,000 a year, this proposal will not involve a tax increase for you. Wrong. You know, this is just like Joe Biden. Don't forget, Joe Biden went on to ABC News and said, oh, you know, if you don't make more than $400K, then your taxes will not go up by 1 penny. That was wrong. You know, wouldn't it be just nice if these reporters over at CNN and ABC actually understood taxes, understood tax policy, understood economic policy, and could come back with, hey, that doesn't quite seem like it makes all the sense in the world. Isn't everybody going to be affected by this? You know, the logical follow-up, but not something a CNN reporter would do, I guess, would be to say, hey, Buttigieg, Secretary Buttigieg, your taxes, do you mean that they're not going up if you don't earn more than $400,000? Jen Psaki, by the way, has corrected the record. So what exactly do you mean? Remember, it's a family and you get $200,000 and $200,000 and the whole family's earning, you know, anything more than $400,000, then they're going to be taxed accordingly. You know, and it's not just people that are making $400,000. This is the misnomer here because everybody, every single one of us, I call it the Great American Tax Hike, we're all going to be affected. It doesn't matter if you're in these high earning categories, the entire economy is going to suffer as a result of this. I mean, we're in a situation now where we get this guy that used to work at McKinsey as a little associate there, 2-bit associate at McKinsey, couldn't even run South Bend, Indiana, by the way. Now the guy, Pete Buttigieg, is going to run $3 to $4 trillion worth of our taxpayer money for us? Are you comfortable with him spending that money? Spending trillions of dollars of your money, however he sees fit, on a bridge to nowhere? If it so be, I don't think so. I don't think you're okay with that. I'm not okay with that. Not to mention, this is money we don't have, right? It's going to cost every single American in some way, shape, or form. I want you to think about the inflationary pressures we're already seeing in the economy, right? Food prices, they're going up. You saw the numbers for February. They increased more than 3%, 3.5%. Restaurant prices went up 3.7%. You see gas prices going up roughly 6%. And guess what? Housing prices are going up too. You know what all this equates to? Inflation. These are the things that people actually use. Housing, fuel, and food. They consume, right? They consume all of this. And yet we have prices on all these things, the things that matter, they're going up. And they're going to keep on going up, and they're going to keep on taking your wages so that they can pay for their bridge to nowhere. And even if they're not taxing you directly, there's an indirect tax, because our economy will suffer as a result of these major tax increases that we're looking at. I'm not going to dispute that we could probably use a little tune-up here and there, right? I mean, you've heard me complain about the grid and the lack of quality in our grid right now that really could be problematic, like really problematic. And we need to pay attention to that. I actually wrote a big piece in AmericanConsequences.com about this very issue. But you know what? We have to think strategically about what we can afford and what we can't afford. And if our infrastructure is in need of repair, do you really want to trust Pete Buttigieg with that? Do you really want people in government doing that? I mean, I have only to think back to the big dig in Boston, right? How well that all went and went on forever. Government is never efficient at using resources. And yet they want more resources and more resources. And they want your money and my money and every single person's money out there to build these kind of social projects and special projects for their special friends that they see to be important. I'm sure there's plenty of McKinsey clients that are lining up to make nice with Pete Buttigieg, right? There's plenty of companies that will have their hands out for that $3 to $4 trillion. But the biggest question is, can we afford it? And I'm going to answer that by telling you, no, we can't. So you need to think about how you're positioning yourself and how you're saving and how you're diversifying your portfolio in this new environment, because even if you don't hit that threshold of $400,000, you will pay. You will pay, and we can't sustain this. So we did a stimulus check last month. What's happening next month or the month after that? This is not a path forward. And the sooner everyone realizes, and by the way, I think everybody does realize that, right? Most Americans get that you can't spend money you don't have. And the government can't keep taxing its way to prosperity, because you're never going to get to prosperity. So I want you right now to go to trishintel.com. I want you to go and download my podcast, because I'm talking about these issues every single day and how important it is to really look at the economic policy that's going on. I mean, these are the biggest changes, they very proudly tell us, since FDR. You know what? FDR never got us out of the Depression. That was actually World War II. I certainly don't want anything like that to happen. But keep in mind, during all those years of spending, what'd you get? 18% unemployment on average. And just more and more spending. In other words, it didn't work then, and it will not work now. Thanks so much for listening tonight. Thanks so much for making sure that you tune in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video, and do go to trishintel.com and sign up for the podcast, because it's an important time. I'll see you soon.